Hello and welcome, guys. For this one, I would like to go over your FRQ 2002 number 1 that I gave you, little practice problem that I gave you. FRQ 2002 number 1, this was on the electric vehicles. So, and I have made a cheat sheet, and I promise you I will show an up close and personal shot of this, and I'll put this at the end of the video. That way you guys can pause it and look at my answers as well, as opposed to just the answers up here, which will be the same. So for A, first let's take a quick look at the question. Electric vehicles often have been proposed as an environmentally sound alternative to the gasoline engine for transportation. In response to state initiatives, several car manufacturers now include electric vehicles among their available models. In spite of these state initiatives, the penetration of electric vehicles into the transportation sector of the United States, as well as other countries, remains modest. Identify and describe two, this is A. Identify and describe two environmental benefits for using electric vehicles in place of gasoline-powered engines for transportation. So, some benefits. Okay, decreased harmful gases, decreased CO, decreased CO2, NOx gases, sulfur dioxides, okay, decreased hydrocarbons, decreased particulate matter. All of these things, we will decrease the amount of these gases in the atmosphere. What else did I say? Hydrocarbons. Okay, we could decrease all of those. So that's one big thing. Another one would be decrease the use of fossil fuels, decrease mining. Okay, decrease mining. What about decreasing possible fuel leaks or gas leaks? Maybe residential and or industrial, and maybe decreasing the noise levels if you are around a busy intersection or a highway or road. Okay, remember combustion engines are louder than electric vehicles. So that's A, okay, and you only need two of those. And there are a bunch more. I'm sure you guys have some great answers as well. B, the math one. Ah, yes, the math one. And let's take a look at that one. So the math one for B. All right, so estimate the potential reduction in petroleum consumption in gallons of gasoline per year. Very important, gallons of gasoline per year. That could be achieved in the United States by introducing electric vehicles under the following assumptions. So let's write down all of our conversion factors. Your teacher had a brain block there for a second. All right, so our first conversion factor, the mileage rate for the average car is 25 miles per gallon. So we're gonna write down 25 miles per gallon. There's one conversion factor. The average car is driven about 10,000 miles per year. 10,000 miles per year. There's another conversion factor. The United States has about 150 million cars. 150 million cars. Okay, not really a conversion factor, but just some helpful information that we're going to need. And last, 10% of the cars can be replaced. So 10% replaced. Okay, so let's go in and try and figure out how we can make all of this work in order to get the amount of gasoline, gallons of gasoline saved. So what we are going to need to do, we have our 4 pieces of information here. Okay, so let's start to figure this out. First off, 10% of the vehicles of the 150 million can be changed from gas to electric. So let's figure out first what 10% is of the 150 million. So 150 million times 10%, which is really, right? It's not really 10%. It is 0.10. So how do we do that? Well, leave off the million for now, and let's just do 150 times 0.10, okay? And when we do that, we get 15, right? Because we just did the 150, so we get 15, and then we're gonna tack on the million. Remember, your AP exam, there is no calculator use, so this is all using our mental math. So 150 million times 10% is 15 million. All right, let's continue moving on there. So now we're going to take our 15 million vehicles, and we know that each vehicle travels 10,000 miles per year. And we also know that every vehicle gets 25 miles per gallon. So where do the miles go? Where do the gallons go? Remember, we need to cancel units. Very good. Miles on top, so miles have to go on the bottom. Gallons are on top. 25 on the bottom. That does what? That, let me get my red pen here. That cancels out the mileage right there. So we just canceled out our units. Okay? So now what we can do is multiply and then divide. 15 million times 10,000 divided by 25. Those numbers are huge, right? You're scared right now. You don't have a calculator. It's all right, I got you. Your teacher's got you. Let's do this part first. 15 million times 10,000. Here's what you do. 15 times 1, right, is just 15. Okay? Now, a million, how many zeros is a million? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 15 million times 1 is 15 million. But remember, we have to tack on these 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we just have, let's see, there's a comma there, there's a comma there, there's a comma there. We have 150 billion. Okay, by multiplying these. Now we need to divide it by 25. And here comes our next trick. Okay, guys? So what we're going to do, does 25 go into 1? No. Cool, you'll see my method here in a second. Does 25 go into 15? No. But, all right, but does 25 go into 150? And the answer is yes. So let's just take this 150, divide it by 25. In doing so, we get 6. Now look at what we did. We took off these zeros. So now we're just going to take those zeros and tack them back on. So we took off 3, 6, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't forget our units. Gallons. So we have a final answer of 6 billion gallons of gasoline that can be saved. All right, guys? So it's all mental math. I'm going to leave this up there for a second. That way you guys can see it. All right. So this isn't too bad. All right, guys? It's all mental math. We did it all by mental math. All right. 2 more to go. 2 more to go. C, some people have suggested that electric vehicles only shift the emissions of air pollutants from dispersed sources to point sources. Explain and defend or refute. All right. So before we can explain and defend and refute, I cannot remember if we went over this with regard to, or if we went over this in class before we left for our extended distant learning, or if we weren't able to go through this, but let's talk quickly about point and non-point sources. Point versus non-point. So what a point is it's a fixed position. So this would be like maybe if a factory is polluting into a river, That factory is not moving. It is right there. It is staying there. So we're thinking like factories. Okay. Industrial areas. That's all. Factories or industrial areas. We're thinking maybe homes. Maybe if your home is polluting, right? Maybe your septic system is leaking. For non-point sources, those are things that are moving, like cars and trucks. All right? Anything that is not specifically polluting in one specific area, it's constantly moving. Okay? All right, so now that we have discerned the difference between point and non-point sources, let's take a look at supporting or refuting it. Well, let's see, explain and defend and refute the statement. So yes, some people have suggested that electric vehicles only shift emissions from air pollution to dispersion. So yes, we can support that by saying vehicles, if they're electric now, they are no longer non-point. Okay, all the pollution falls to the point because we have these generating stations now. And how do you get electricity to fill up your electric vehicle? From a generating station, which becomes a point source of pollution. On the flip side, if you're using vehicles, that is a non-point source of pollution. Now think about this. What if your generating station is a solar generating station, or a hydroelectric, or a wind power, meaning it's getting its electricity to charge the vehicles from solar, from wind, from hydro? Then that's a good thing, all right? That's not a point or non-point pollution source at all. All right, hopefully this has kind of helped you for part C. I know that was kind of weird to navigate around. Again, I will post these answers. And D, provide 2 potential new United States government policies that would encourage the widespread use of electric vehicles. You could offer tax breaks. You could offer rebates. You could offer educational funding, research and development. You can do special travel lanes for these electric vehicles, like you have a carpooling lane, do an electric vehicle lane. You can have subsidies. We always talk about subsidies and how important they are. You can offer companies subsidies, meaning they'll cover part of the cost. That'll bring the cost down for you. So you want to go over and explain these. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. Please, when you are answering free response questions, always, always, always answer those questions that are asked. If it says describe, then please describe. If it says list, then list. If it says environmental issues, make sure they're environmental. If it says economic, make sure they're economic. There are so many little terms that you need to pay attention to that will make it so much easier for you guys to answer these questions out. Please continue to work on these. Please continue to submit your answers. You guys are doing wonderfully so far. And also, please make sure that when you are answering these questions, you give a little more than just a couple sentences. Okay, guys, really, really put some effort into these. So keep up the good work. And I will give you guys a close-up of this so that way you could pause it at the very end if you'd like. All right, guys? So I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's see. There we go. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope everything is working out for you. I hope you're getting used to this distant learning. Here's the back. There we go. All right, guys. This is Mr. F saying, have a great day. See you, everybody. Bye.